It is time.
All right, we are here at Galaxy Jams Reacts. Thanks for hanging out with us today. And we have our special guest, Howie Schnee of CEG with us. How are you doing, Howie? Having fun?
Doing great. I am having fun. Thanks
All
for
right.
having me on.
Thanks for being here. So happy to listen to music together.
Yeah, so I happened upon this while looking around on YouTube, and I'm a huge Hendrix fan. A lot of people are. But it's a new, it's like a restored Jimi Hendrix experience show from Maui in 1970. And so I checked it out and I was like, wow, this is really great quality, and just is great to watch the audience and to watch Jimi Hendrix on stage and from back in 1970. So I thought I'd bring that along today. So let's check it out. It's Voodoo Child Slight Return, the Jimi Hendrix experience from Live in Maui.
I love how they're just like in a field.
Yeah.
I can't believe this is 52 years old. The quality.
I know, it looks so good.
Ginger Baker.
Yeah.
Yeah. What an absolute classic.
How are people sitting?
I know, I'd be like rolling around on the ground.
Sitting still.
Sounds like Machine Gun.
Wow. There you go.
That kid does not look happy.
I don't want to stop it there, but I'm going to stop it there so we can actually talk about it. The quality of this, to me, that's why I brought it today. I was just like, this is amazing quality that was restored. I guess it was done by a longtime Hendrix engineer. I think his name Eddie Kramer, and so he went through and recently redid it. And I guess there's the whole show that you can find. So, which I'm going to do that. I just love watching the people too. And like you said, how could they be sitting?
Yeah.
Because a lot of them probably never seen anything like this.
It just didn't. I guess it was. We've had lots of years to get to where we are with how you act at a concert, and back then it probably wasn't as much of that. But you can definitely tell because I did kind of skip ahead when I was watching it a little bit, just to see like some of the people in the crowd are definitely having a great time.
Yeah,
and you get to see that here in just a bit, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And I really like how he's going straight to the point, right? He's not like, ooh, like I'm going to skirt around the issue. He's like, this is why you're here. You're here to hear me shred my guitar and like, shred your face off. And I like how it's making a lot of use of the effects. It kind of reminds me of like when you go to see like DJs now or EDM producers, it's less about a song and more about like a trippy like noise that they center like songs around, right? It's like more about like instead of going there for a story, you're going there to like it's like eating candy instead of eating like a 3-course meal, right? And so I feel like when he's like just going for the guitar like that, he's kind of like like I'm like it's just like straight soda, like just sugary goodness.
Yeah, I was kind of struck by the improvisational nature, and the band was right there with him. Just without a net, just going for it.
Yeah, it's probably like just keep going until I give you the look.
Right.
Just keep going. But how many people do you think are there? Like 200 at the most?
Yeah,
not
it looked like 200-300 people.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like a very well produced, event. It looks like they just set up a stage in like a field and
That's probably what happened.
that's
how it was.
There you go.
They didn't have they had some giant events, but that was so costly back then comparative. I mean, it's still costly now, but the equipment and stuff, it's really wasn't made since like I guess weren't like the Beatles the first one to do like a stadium show and actually have
Monitors.
Monitors and a sound system produced for them after their first tour. I think
They couldn't hear anything.
They couldn't hear anything, so all that equipment was new. All that
It
it was hard to get.
It was just basically teenage girls screaming the whole time.
Yeah, you couldn't hear anything.
So all this equipment, stage equipment you see here, was like brand new to the scene. 5 years old, 1970.
Yeah.
So it's probably hard to get too.
I noticed he has like a little wall of amps behind him. Do you think it's like
All amps.
what? Yeah, actual.
I don't
He's
know.
actually chaining them, or do you think it's like just like a what they do now, which is just like a
Like for show.
decoration?
For show? I don't know. 'Cause you never know. Back then, maybe so. It'd be cool.
Yeah, all right. That's a small stage too. Yee.
These people are like 70 or 80 now.
What does he have on the microphone? It's like
it's a foam to cover for wind.
It looks pretty makeshift.
oh.
It's basically this,
Yeah.
but no company actually made
yeah.
that.
I was just showing them
Everybody
this.
made
I
it.
was just showing them this microphone cover. I was like, it's like this,
Yeah.
Yeah.
except they didn't have those back then. So they did. They just wrapped foam
They just
around
took
it.
stuff out of the side of their house and just
Right.
put it on the microphone.
It was asbestos.
So there you go, Jimi Hendrix
That was
from live in Maui from 1970. Jimi Hendrix
Yeah,
Experience.
and I liked how raw and unpolished that was. You know, people think that, especially from seeing bands nowadays, you know, like when you watch like a big, like the String Cheese Incident, like a band like that, it's like polished as hell. They're never going to fail you. It's their transitions, like everything is just so good. And watching what we just saw with Jimi Hendrix, like I'm not like, it was, you know, raw and punk in a way where, and you know, I feel like people, like when they think of all this past musicians, like, you know, idolize them in the same kind of way where they're like, oh, they had this whole polished product. But I feel like when I'm watching him, I'm watching like a raw counterculture symbol that people saw to rebel, you know, as a way of rebelling against like conventional music norms.
Yeah. He was a, you know, still today. I mean, he's a musician's musician, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Everyone idolized him. And back in the day, it was, I heard Paul McCartney in an interview talking about when Jimmy first came there, and in the room it was, you know, Eric Clapton and everybody had Jeff Beck, everybody had come out to see him.
Oh yeah, that must have been incredible.
Yeah, it must have been really nice, you know. Especially when he lit that guitar on fire. That was just like a defining moment.
Just doing stuff that nobody did before, you know. So
Yeah.
incredible. And then, you know, I look at past pictures of Jimi Hendrix when he was like back in the 50s or whatever, and he was playing in one of those, you know, all wearing the same suit kind of bands that he was in, and then he took that from that kind of music, skiffle music or whatever, R&B type stuff too, and then into what he became. And it was sad that he didn't. We couldn't see him for years after that, but we're glad that we have what we have of him. So
Yeah, that was nice.
I feel like you see a lot of avant-garde artists start as more conventional. Like the only way that you can break the rules is if you know them very well.
that's right.
And so the only way that he could do what he was doing with the guitar, which is what you're not really supposed to do, is to know what you are supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I think makes it so interesting, is because he was so good at playing regular guitar that he got bored and he's like, oh no, like I want to break the rules. I don't want to just keep following them.
Right.
And I feel like when music is being made, it's always a dance between, do I want to make a polished, marketable product with all the fat trimmed off, or do I want to make what I really want to make, this raw thing that shows who I am, and finding the balance between the two.
Oh yeah, good point.
Hi, this is Mike with Galaxy Jams Reacts. We hope that you enjoyed that React video. Be sure to check out the links below of when we're going to be live streaming our next show, and also how to watch full episodes. Please hit that subscribe button. Every single one helps.